It's Saturday morning cartoons. And here's my favorite colorful character, Ganesha. This is an old tin matchbox that I think I got at a head shop. Remember head shops? A head shop probably in Costa Mesa or Laguna Beach, California, back in the late 60s. Uh, anyway, I'm showing you this because today I want to talk about dice. Okay. And, well, I just can't tease you with that thing. I got to show you. Now, inside that box is 88 cards. This is my Mark Twain oracle, by the way, my homemade Mark Twain oracle. And I've got quotes from Tom Sawyer. Maybe this is a message for me for today. Uh, anyway, I got 88 of those cards, and I use two dice, a green one and a red one, to divine, to use a Mark Twain oracle, if you will. I ask a question and lay out a grid of these cards and throw the dice and ask Mark Twain a question. But dice are pretty important divinatory tools within human history. Of course, the ultimate dice itself is the one that is created by the dimension we live in. Up, down, right, left, front, back. I've done this a million times. Inside this cube is an up, down, right, left, front, back. Those are those three dimensions that we live in, and they create the six sides and top of the and bottom of the cube, and the edges of the cube provide 12 edges. So Kabbalistically, the cube is very important. The cube is existence itself. So is it any wonder that dice or a cube would be used for divinatory purposes? Now, I trot this book out quite a bit on our morning visits because it's one of my favorite books. I dog ear. This is the fifth or sixth copy I bought myself because I dog ear them. I leave them in coffee shops. But anyway, there's chapter 5 is called Dice. And it's from the Book of Ordinary Oracles, published by Weiser. And I want to talk about these dice for just a second, because it's likely that you, right now, where you're sitting in your home, hopefully, or have somewhere in your home, in a drawer someplace, a pair of dice. Maybe you've got, if you're a gamester, maybe you have all sorts of dice. 6-sided dice, 7, 8, 9, 3-sided dice that look like a tetrahedron, 12-sided, 20, whatever. Dice are really holy because you're playing with dimensional reality and space-time that you're dealing with right now. What better archetypal number/reality tool do you have in your house? Of course, the intuition for all these divinatory processes come from you. Okay, doesn't mean anything unless you can interpret these things. But here's what a younger Lon Milo DuQuette had to say about dice. Starts off with two epigraphs. One by Albert Einstein that says, "God does not play dice." and one by Stephen Hawking. Yes, he does. Since an exasperated Albert Einstein made that famous statement about God not playing dice, physicists have gone back and forth about the apparent randomness of nature. For reasons I certainly do not pretend to understand, the crux of one such debate revolves around the theoretical impossibility of measuring both the speed and the position of a particle. Einstein figured there must be some factor, some hidden variable that once understood would allow such measurement, and thus disprove the randomness of things. As it turns out, the old boy has been proven wrong, at least about that. Professor Stephen Hawking, in one of his surprisingly easy-to-follow public lectures, talked about the results of an experimental test that could prove or disprove hidden variable theories. And I'll quote that. When the experiment was carried out carefully, the results were inconsistent with hidden variables. Thus it seems that even God is bound by the uncertainty principle and cannot know both the position and the speed of a particle. So God does play dice with the universe. All the evidence points to him being an inveterate gambler who throws the dice on every possible occasion. Unquote. Dice are the perfect tools for generating random numbers. In later chapters of this book, I'll show how the six-sided die, either alone or in combination with others, can be used to generate the numbers and figures for other oracles, including tarot and I Ching and things. Okay, geomancy. Okay. First, however, let's look at a couple ordinary dice oracles. Throwing dice is probably the world's oldest, most popular, and universal game of chance. It's also one of the oldest and most revered divinatory methods. Dice made from ordinary things like knuckle bones, bone ivory, fruit pits, teeth, seashells, broken pottery stones, and sticks have been found in prehistoric grave sites all over the world. Some of the earliest written records unearthed by archaeologists are rules for various games and auguries that use dice. In a very real way, the biblical oracular practice of casting lots is a throw of the dice. The lots were bits of broken pottery with Hebrew letters or other mysterious numbers or symbols painted on them. Many Bible scholars believe that the Urim, revelations, and the Thummim, truth, that's the translation of Urim and Thummim, revelations and truth, those mysterious objects that were stashed in the breastplate of the high priest of Israel and used as oracular devices to determine God's will on a particular question, were actually a form of dice. Scripture is full of crap shooting. As Jesus hung dying on the cross, soldiers threw dice for his expensive, seamless cloak. Book 4 of the Hindu Mahabharata is titled The Fatal Dice. It tells how the virtuous leader Yudhishthira, I used to be able to pronounce this, Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira lost everything because he just couldn't pass up a good game of dice. The gods of Egypt loved to play dice. One of my favorite myths concerning the famous game of dice that the moon god, Thoth, inventor of numbers and language and time, played with the other gods. This tale has many variations, so if my version isn't exactly like the one you've heard, I wouldn't be surprised. But it goes like this. Ra, the sun god, liked to think that he and Nuit, the goddess of infinite space, had an exclusive relationship. She liked him well enough, but let's face it, the sun is just one star out of many. And when you're the goddess whose body plays host to all the stars in the night sky, well, let's just say she had a capacity for a whole lot of loving. As sure as night follows day, she became pregnant with 5 babies. There's much confusion in the various myths as to who the fathers are, or were, or is, which didn't seem to concern her too much. That is not until Ra, in a jealous rage, cursed her so that she would not be able to give birth to those babies in any day of the year. At the time, the year was 360 days long. 12 months of 30 days. This was serious. Nuit was very concerned about how all this eternal swelling was going to affect her figure. So she went to Thoth, one of her favorite boy toys. Moonlight is so romantic. And begged him to think of some kind of loophole in the curse that could get her out of this mess. Thoth had an idea. He challenged the rest of the gods to a grand game of dice, either by skill, cunning, or a little cheating. Thoth eventually beat the house. As his prize, he demanded that he be allowed to add an equivalent of 1/72nd of his annual moonlight to the year, thereby lengthening the calendar days by 5 days. Days that would allow Nuit to beat the curse and deliver her 5 divine babies in a new kind of year. Today, because, well, I got a footnote here. I don't know where I can find this footnote, but I think it's important, so I'm going to try to read it. In the 8th century BC, the Egyptian calendar was extended from 360 days to 365 days to synchronize the traditional lunar calendar with the solar year, marked by the rising of Sirius and the inundation of the Nile. So this is a legendary mythical explanation for an actual event when the calendar got itself changed. But it also can be projected, if you will, upon how the potential universe, as represented by the gods before there was a creation, how the potential universe got itself tricked into actually manifesting into an actual universe, in the same way that the existence of the Titans, that existed before creation. Titans weren't gods. They were titans. Okay, the wild forces that lay in potentiality before uh, a manifest universe could be created. Uh, the Titans, ruled by Saturn, up there in the number 3 in the supernal triad, got itself tricked into flipping flipping as it reflects itself into actual creation. The supernal triad flips mirror image wise to become Sephiroth 4, 5, and 6, and then 7, 8, and 9. Okay, and then 10, the universe itself. And that number 4, that first flip into manifest existence, is attributed to the god Jupiter or Zeus. And Zeus ruled the other gods that we can actually wrap our meat brains around. Jupiter and Mars and Apollo and Aphrodite and Mercury. So that legend has deeper implications too, besides just being how the calendar year got itself changed. But I digress. Today, because of the popularity of role-playing games, dice come in all shapes and numbered sides. The possibility for divining with these are mind-boggling. For our purposes, however, we're going to stick with the ordinary 6-sided dice, or die as a single one, with opposite faces that add to 7. 1, 6, 2, 5, 3, 4. After all, most of you probably already have a few of these little fortune tellers laying around the house. Lying around the house. I have several other reasons for doing this. First, the use of the six-sided die goes back as far as the Etruscans, 900 BC. These evolved from prehistoric divination with animal knuckle or knee bones, some of which can land in any one of 6 positions. Second, the most important, we have inherited an existing venerable list of throw answers, or traditional meanings attached to the different numbers. The throw answers below are my own personal lists of meanings culled from a number of classic dice divination sources and translated, as I'm wont to do, into my own lazy abbreviated language. One set consists of 11 answers for when you use 2 dice. The second list consists of 16 answers for when you use 3 dice. The method of consulting the dice oracle is the same for both. You throw the dice from a cup into a circular area from 12 to 18 inches in diameter. This can be a piece of paper or cloth or even a small hooked rug, which I use. If you are outside, you can also draw a circle on the sidewalk with chalk or mark out a circle in the dirt. After invoking the superior intelligence of your choice and concentrating on your question, take the cup of dice in your left hand if you're right-handed, or your right hand if you are left-handed, and shake it until the spirit moves you to toss the dice into the circle. If a die falls outside the circle, don't read it. If all the dice fall outside the circle, put them back in the cup and roll again. If all the dice fall outside the circle twice in a row, wait at least 3 hours before attempting again. You can also inject an added dimension to your throw of dice by placing a coin or other small object anywhere within the circle before you make the throw. The die that lands nearest the coin represents things, events, or people that are coming into your life. The die that falls farthest away from the coin represents things, events, or people that are moving out of your life or will become a factor in your life far in the future. Okay, that's no matter if you use 2 or 3 die, 1, 2, or 3 dice. That's the technique. And just before I show you the list of answers, I have a little thing about superstitions involving dice oracles. And let's face it, if you're already throwing the dice to ask the gods a question to get an answer, you're already teetering on superstitious behavior. So if there are classic superstitions involved in a dice oracle, it sort of adds to the respect, if you will, that you have for the divinatory process that you're using. So even though these are superstitions, those superstitions can act as adjuncts or aids to your divinatory process. Superstitions surrounding the dice oracle. Half the fun of getting yourself psyched up to consult the oracle is respecting the various traditions, superstitions, and taboos unique to the oracle. After all, you're already behaving irrationally, or you wouldn't be consulting an oracle in the first place. Why not go ahead and play along with the mystique and romance of the process and try not to offend the powers that be? 3 big traditional taboos of dice divination are: 1, don't consult the dice on Wednesday. 2, don't consult the dice on Monday. 3, don't consult the dice when it's hot and humid. Now, I have yet to discover an explanation for these simple taboos, but I have a theory or two that makes sense, at least to me. They all have to do with that famous dice player of Egyptian mythology, Thoth. The proscription against consulting the dice on Mondays and Wednesdays probably derives from honoring Thoth, the moon god. Also the Egyptian version of the Greek Hermes and the Roman Mercury. Those days are attributed to Wednesday, as we just found out this last week. Thoth is the god who gambled his moonlight to add extra days to the calendar, days that synchronize the calendars of the moon and the sun. Traditionally, the sun calendar started on July 23rd, when the dog star Sirius arose and signaled the inundation of the Nile and the beginning of the hot, humid days of summer that are still known to us today as dog days. Dogs are also sacred to Thoth. There are even Egyptian or Greco-Egyptian statues of the god Thoth with a dog head. Okay, now that you're feeling spooky, ask your question and toss them bones. Now here's the 2 dice method. Okay, 2 dice. And I'm going to, the 2 dice method is when you really have a specific question about a specific situation. And I'm going to hold the page up so that those of you who are watching and are able to replay this will be able to have the list of answers to okay, so if your dice, if the throw of your dice comes up snake eyes or 2, you'd say yes, or 3, no. If you get a 4, danger, be cautious with this matter. If you get a combination of 5, please look and think before you leap. Or 6, let's see here, let me get it closer. You will easily get your way with this situation. Or 7, your reward will depend on how much effort you put toward your goal. 8, be patient. 9, success in everything you do. 10, disappointment, but keep on trying. 11, impossible. You're asking and expecting too much, at least for the time being. Or if you get boxcars, or 12, this is a real long shot. But long shots sometimes pay off. Okay, I'm going to hold that up once again for a second in case you want to take a screenshot of that. You have my permission to do so. Okay. The 3 dice answer. Now, the Tibetans use a 3 dice system called shomo. Use this method when you don't have a specific question, but wish to get a general forecast of events that are likely to affect you. Okay. And I think they're all on this. Okay. And here are the 3 die answers. Let's see here. 3 die answers. It'd be hard for me to read it at the same time. I'll have to. Well, go ahead and take your screenshot while I hold it still here for a second. Okay, there's your screenshot. 3 dice answer. If you get 3, family problems. If you get 4, you really don't understand the situation. Better rethink this. 5, a very pleasant surprise. 6, your luck is about to change. Unfortunately, not for the better. 7, you want it, you got it. 8, material loss. 9, hassles with friends, co-workers, or lovers. 10, a happy romantic surprise. 11, a new baby, brainchild, or the beginning of an endeavor. 12, a sad separation, perhaps ill health. 13, a message of importance, good news. 14, something happens to bum you out. 15, a stranger becomes a friend by helping you. 16, watch your step. Play with fire now, and you'll definitely get burned. 17, something you hear causes you to modify your plans. And 18, if you get 3 6s. Is everybody happy? Yes. This is the best. Happiness and success. I'll hold it up one more time so you can get a screenshot of the 18 answers for a shomo thing. This is when you just want a general a general answer to the general situation. And the 2-die answer right there is for when you have a specific question. So because I've got 2 die right here from my Mark Twain Oracle, I'm going to ask, before we go, I'm going to ask a specific question. Let's see, for a 2-die answer. Let's see. What further advice can I give concerning the Dice Oracle to my Facebook friends? Nah, you've already got your advice. Let's see. What will be the likely outcome? No. Let's see. Maybe I'll just give it. Maybe I'll just use them to get a 3-die answer. That's what I'll do. I'm good. Okay. So I'll roll the 2 dice once, and I'll get a. Then I'll throw 1 die once. Okay. So. Okay, I got boxcars. What was it? What would that be for a 2-die answer? This is a real long shot, but long shots sometimes pay off. Okay, there's that. Now, one more to make it a showmo. A 6 again. 18. Is everybody happy? Yes, this is the best. Happiness, success. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. We'll see you tomorrow for Sunday school. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.